Hey, what is going on, everybody out there? It is the epic Jake James Lugo here, aka Venomousfatman, and I got something a little bit special for you guys today, something a little bit different. So, in case you guys don't follow me on Twitter or Facebook, on my Facebook fan page or whatnot, and you guys just watch the videos, if you didn't already know, I buy a lot of video games. I buy both new games and I also buy a lot of used games. Now, don't get me wrong, I know there's this whole debate and stuff about how used games are killing the industry and that people aren't getting paid and all that jazz. Don't get me wrong, I totally understand that. But for someone like me who's pretty much like a collector of different video games, especially older ones like that, for older consoles that maybe aren't in print anymore, or games that like are little gems, from different parts of gaming's past that aren't necessarily offered on PlayStation Network or Xbox Live or Nintendo eShop or anything like that. I buy my used games. And every once in a while, when you go to like a GameStop or a Best Buy or anything like that, sometimes you'll see like a game that you necessarily want, but it's maybe not in the best type of condition. And necessarily it's probably like, a little bit messed up or whatnot. But in that case, I'm going to show you guys a little bit of something on how to actually maintenance and actually how to get your used games looking a little bit better and up to snuff, for the most part. So that way they don't look like complete crap in your collection. Pretty much, you don't like, there's no stickers or anything like that, where it's just real kind of like smooth stuff. It almost looks kind of brand new. So you're not always going to find used games like that, in that particular type of condition, because let's face it, they're used. People use them, they have them in their house, maybe they get thrown around or something and just, thrown on the table or put in some type of dirt or whatever. You never know. So you want to kind of actually maintenance them and actually make them, look pretty good. So that way, you could display them proudly in your actual, like your DVD, stand or whatnot, or wherever you put your games. All right. So, in this case, I got two games in front of me. One game is out of print, Tatsunoko vs. Capcom Ultimate All-Stars. And you also got SOCOM Fire Team Bravo 3, which is also out of print because, keep in mind, it's for the PlayStation Portable. But I'm going to show you guys how to actually maintenance these games and actually make them look really cool. Now, the way that I do it, okay, it's just the ways that I've kind of, learned throughout the years, from buying used games and collecting games here and there, whether it was at GameStop, Best Buy, Walmart, Target, or wherever. These are the different tactics that I used to actually, make my games look a little bit better. That way they don't look, so messed up or whatnot. Everybody's a little bit different. Don't get me wrong. What might work for some people may not work for others, or vice versa or whatnot. Everybody has their own approach to this. But these are my particular tips that, you could use to your discretion and how you actually want to actually handle your games. Now, with some of the stuff that I'm going to show you, okay, this is going to be actually the maintenancing of the actual game boxes. The actual CDs themselves, I'll do at another date that I'll show you guys, is a little bit different than actually handling the boxes. But for this and some of the stuff that I'm going to do here, okay, what you're going to need, okay, besides your games, you're going to need some isopropanol alcohol. It could be any sort of isopropanol alcohol or any sort of alcohol that isn't like, going to burn your fingers or whatnot, or burn through the boxes of the actual game. So I don't even think that they make them like that, but I hope not if they're available. Some cotton swabs. Now, you could actually use cotton balls, the little kind of like small cotton balls that are about that big. But I got these cotton pads here that are going to work the same exact way, serve the same exact purpose. And also, for a little bit of cleanup, some tissue. Now, some people like using cotton cloth, like the same type of cloth that you would use to like clean glasses or whatnot. But in some cases, for me, depending on the type of cloth, sometimes they'll leave like, leftover particles or whatnot on like the game cases or anything like that. And I don't like that at all. So I tend to go with kind of like the tissues, the tissue paper or whatnot, because it actually, again, it's a little bit softer, it's a little bit nicer. It doesn't break up as much as you guys are going to see. So let's get started. Let's kind of, dive into our first game here. Just Tatsunoko vs. Capcom. This sticker is a little bit coming off, but normally some of the stickers, like if you go into like a GameStop or whatnot and you actually buy your game, this sticker will be on there, probably been there maybe for years or something, or months, or however long it's actually been in the store that nobody's bought it. But show you guys here to actually take off the stickers to actually get it where you do it in a manner where it's not going to leave any sort of leftover sticky stuff on the actual package. Because it gets that kind of like white, like streaking mark on there, and sometimes you try to try to claw it off with your actual nail or whatnot, and sometimes it doesn't look the best. It kind of really messes up the package or whatnot. You don't necessarily want to do that. So there's a method to doing this. Well, when you're actually faced with the sticker, let's say this is here, forget about the fact that it's actually coming off now. What you want to do is you want to find some sort of weak spot where you're actually able to gently peel off the actual sticker without having to actually leave any sort of leftover, like, paste marks. Now, in the case when you are peeling it off very slowly, right? And you do start to notice like some sort of marks that are probably like left over like there. You can't see it here, but let's say like pulling off and like, the sticky part is still on there, but you're just basically pulling off the paper. All you have to do is really kind of go up to the other side of the actual sticker and slowly do the same thing and try to keep on doing it to kind of, slowly pull off the sticker so there's not stuff left over. You do this, and eventually, from the opposite side of where you actually saw it was actually ripping apart, you'll actually pull off the sticky section of the actual sticker where there's nothing that's left over. And if you do it right, you'll actually have a smooth section on there. Now, again, there's a little bit, kind of left over on here. You kind of can't really see and make it out with the camera. But if you kind of go like this a little bit with your actual thumb or your index finger, you'll know if there's actual stuff on there because you'll feel it. You'll feel the difference. You'll feel sticky or it'll feel a little bit rough. There's a little bit here, not too much, but I'll show you one instance where it actually might do so. But again, you do the same thing on the opposite side. Some games, again, they come with the front sticker, like what GameStop does, and they put it in the back. It's a very annoying thing, especially for a collector like myself, because, it could be very, very annoying. Like you can see, you don't want this. You see this right here? This is exactly what you don't want. Let's see if I could actually get it up to the camera and it'll focus right on here. So you guys could see it well. It's a little tough to see here, especially with the light, but this right here is actually part of the sticker where the sticky part is actually stuck on the bottom. Now, you could go like this and try to claw it off with your nail, but you don't want to do that. Again, I'm going to go to the other side or go to a different section, which is a little bit weaker, and you could gently pull it off without an issue. Do it very slowly, using a lot of caution. You could actually hold it right here, the actual package, the plastic part, so again, you don't pull it out or whatnot. And you try to do it very, very subtly so you get all the sticker out. And once you do that, okay, you notice here, I'll even show you guys a little bit before. You notice how this was coming off like this? This right here on the inside is paper. This is the sticky part of the actual sticker right here. You don't want that. You don't want this like little slab of stuff on your game disc or whatnot. Excuse me. So you do that here, you do it, check it again, there's a little bit of stuff on there. Now I'm going to teach you a little technique that I learned with the actual stickers to help get off this little excess stuff. Okay, let's say you just peel off the stickers. You don't want to necessarily throw them out into the garbage right away. Obviously that'll be like, the knee-jerk reaction to do once you get rid of these stickers. You crumple it up and you throw it in the trash. But instead, when you got these little leftover particles here like that, do is you take the sticker, depending on how well you did it. Sometimes you might rip it off or whatnot, but you take the part where it is actually sticky. Now, if you stick it on, it's not going to actually stick on there. It's not going to leave any sort of like, streaks on before like it was, on the other one. Take it here like if you were working with a pad and you gently go like this, you lift off the actual extra stuff. It may take a few tries to do so, but if you do it gently, okay, you should be able to remove all the different particles that are left on there, and also all the dirt particles that are also left on there later that you're going to get rid of, in a different step that I'll show you guys. But sometimes this helps out, it kind of clears things up. At the same time, it leaves it smooth, as you guys could see that there. There's a little bit of shadow stuff because, some of the plastic over the years has kind of gotten a little bit worn down. But it's a lot smoother. There's no sticky stuff left on there. There's no white streaks or whatnot left on there. You could do the same thing on the other side here. Again, just to get rid of this little bit right here. You can use the same one, or if you have the other one here, like in this instance, I'll use the other one just for the sake of showing you guys. Make sure that this part doesn't actually get stuck on there. Use it again like a pad. Gently lift off the different particles that are left over from the sticker. Again, you don't have to worry about the actual sticker itself leaving more on there because it's already been lifted out, and you're using your actual fingers to actually slightly just touch the actual box and lift it up. That way you get rid of all those little particles. And again, if you do it right, and you do it carefully, it should be nice and smooth. There should be nothing on there, which is great. That's exactly what you want. Okay, you don't want your actual game box to look ugly. So, moving on from there, let's go even a step further. Now, we all know, okay, as you guys can see the box and everything, the disc and the booklet. Sometimes when you buy used games, you don't necessarily know where they came from. You don't necessarily know where they've been. Sometimes there'll be dirt on there or something like that. They'll be a little bit messed up. So what you do is, to not only kill off some bacteria, because again, you don't want to touch a game that's been, in most random spots and all of a sudden go eat some food. You're going to get sick like that. You want to get rid of all the bacteria and all the dirt and stuff that might be on there. Now, what I like to do is I like to wipe them down with an alcohol pad. An actual like cotton pad that's wiped with alcohol. What I do is I actually take off the cover art and put it in a different section that's, away from the actual thing so it doesn't get wet, it doesn't get messed up, and I don't ruin the cover art. And you have this entire palette here. It might be full of dirt or whatnot to wipe it down. So what you do is you take your little isopropyl alcohol and you take your cotton pad right here, or a cotton ball, whatever I have at the time. You put a little bit, all you have to do, just go one little bit like that, not too much. You don't want to drench it with alcohol like that. And you actually wipe across. You do it pretty quickly. You don't want to like drench it in alcohol, but you just want to do enough to not only get rid of the dirt that's on there, but also to kill off any bacteria that might be on the actual game box. Now, some people don't like this because some people believe like the alcohol will ruin the actual plastic or whatnot. I've yet to run into a case where that is, actually true. Almost all the games that I've actually done this with, they've never really kind of gotten messed up. There hasn't been any sort of leftover particles or like after effects for using the alcohol. Once you wipe it down and it's a little bit wet with alcohol, you take the other one over here, a dry one, and you just pick it up like that. Again, there shouldn't be a lot of actual particles left over from the actual cotton pad. Okay, if you do it right, and you didn't put a lot, most of it not only will be kind of evaporated because isopropyl alcohol kind of evaporates pretty fast, but also it should be a lot cleaner than normal, than before, I should say. Be a lot cleaner, so they got a nice sheen to it. It's really clear. Looks pretty good. Okay, there you go. As you can see, no dirt or nothing on here. It looks pretty good. Now, what I also like to do, just as a precautionary thing, again, with bacteria or whatnot, you never know where these games have been. Sometimes I like to wipe off the tops here, when I'm actually, opening up the game disc or whatnot. Sometimes you'll touch the tops or whatever, and also get rid of any other little excess dirt or whatnot. You don't really have to do it a lot. You just do it a couple swipes here and there. And again, same thing. You dry it off, and it should come out pretty good. See there? Now, when you're done, again, it should be dry at this point. If there is any extra, alcohol on there, just wipe it down. You should be straight after that. With that being said, once you're done, you've already finished it up, and it should be looking like good as new. Do is get here, put your actual game box, game cover art inside. There you go. Looks pretty good. Original disc, original booklet. And there you go. You're pretty much done. Now, let's savor a minute here. Got a couple little dust particles from my table. And actually also adjusting the actual cover art so that way it comes out good. So that way there's no wrinkles, there's no bubbles or anything like that. And as you guys can see, it looks pretty much good as new. Like that. It's pretty good. It's a great way and a really kind of cheap way to actually clear up your games, so that way they don't look, utterly terrible in your collection. That way you don't hang out with your friends, you pull out a game disc and there's all this like random streaks or nothing on there. People look like, wow, he really did go to GameStop to buy this game. At this point, you're really cheap on that regard. But again, it's not all about looks, it's all about maintenance. You want your games to last a long time, you want your games to look great, look awesome, years down the line. So let me show you one that I haven't, kind of messed around with and didn't have so much of a loose sticker. There's another one with the PlayStation Network, the PSP game, SOCOM Fireteam Bravo 2. Again, this is a sticker that's already been stuck on here, it's still there. And you're going to follow the same exact process, okay? You want to be very, very, very subtle in how you try to lift the sticker. Because in the instances where you do kind of do it wrong, and there is leftover stuff on there, and you've done everything of what you possibly can do, to get rid of it without, messing up the package, of course. There's other steps to kind of combat that. But again, you want to be very, very careful, very subtle, pulling very slowly. You don't want to rip it off too soon and leave off, any leftover like sticky parts from the actual stickers. You guys can see here, it's clear, it's starting to be pretty smooth. Trying to do it very, very, very slowly, as you guys can notice. There isn't a lot of like white stuff coming off from it. Leftover, elastic or leftover sticker. And there you go. that. If you do it right, again, it should be somewhat smooth. There's a little bit on here, you know, just from doing like that. Again, you just take the sticker, whatnot that you can actually do. This one's a little bit more flimsy. And again, you should be smooth, like that. As you guys can see here, it's pretty smooth. Looks great, looks fantastic. Check the back. Obviously, this one doesn't have a back. But again, there's a little bit of dirt on there. Again, you could use the same thing, you know, before throwing it out. You know, go like this here and there. Get rid of any, like, excess dirt or excess, like, sticky, stickers that might have been left over. Like that. Sometimes, you know, in some cases like GameStop or whatnot, they'll actually have the sticker on here, especially those yellow stickers. If you actually have ever seen them when you go to buy used games, those are those older stickers from way back in the day that have been there for years. You find that a lot on a lot of PlayStation 2 games or even GameCube games, because they kind of just didn't really care. They actually, sometimes they're even stupid enough to actually stick it on the actual cover art, which is like the worst thing for a collector myself, because it ruins the box cover art, which is a damn shame. Anyway, there's the original art. It looks pretty cool. Remove it from there, okay? Again, close up the box because I don't want to ruin the actual booklet or the disc inside. A little bit clear here. And you do the same step. Again, your pad, some isopropyl alcohol, a little bit on here. Good right here. Make sure that the disc is closed or that you're not actually messing up the actual booklet. And with a little bit on there, sometimes I go like this to actually evaporate a little bit so there is an excess on there. And you wipe it down. Wipe it down very quickly, again, so there isn't enough to drench it. Again, do the sides if you like what I like to do. Kill any bacteria, get rid of any dirt that might be on there. Now I know what some of you are thinking, why don't you just use water to actually clean it? Or any sort of like glass cleaner or shiner or like that. I think those are like the worst probably to use, because again, you get a lot of streaks. And you get a lot of stuff in there that you don't necessarily want. And if also when you go to put back the actual box cover art, like that, sometimes it'll seep through on the sides there because there's a lot of excess, because they don't evaporate as easily as what isopropyl alcohol does when you're wiping it on. And it'll ruin the actual box art, or it'll get inside to the game, and there goes your game. You're pretty much your shot at that point. And again, just wipe it down. In here, up all the sides, no excess. Should be dry by the time you finish. I'm going to switch on the other side. And there you go. This one's pretty dry. There's no excess stickers on here. Looks great. Now just put the actual box art without dropping the booklet. Put it on there. Make sure that it doesn't have no bubbles or anything like that. And there you go. Looks good as new. You probably won't even know if it was a used game or not, you know, other than the fact that I probably own it. So there you go, guys. There's a tutorial on actually how to maintenance some of your used game boxes. Again, this could be done on any sort of game. It doesn't necessarily have to be contemporary games like that. You could do this on PlayStation 2 boxes. You could pretty much do this also on much other plastic boxes that are probably PlayStation 2, Xbox, you know, GameCube, you know, even again contemporary consoles. This works for pretty much about anything. You obviously don't want to do this type of method on anything that's like cardboard, you know, like an N64 box, or even some of the old school Genesis boxes or whatnot, or even Super Nintendo. You don't want to do that because obviously you're going to ruin the cardboard box. But this definitely works with cases that have a plastic coating on them. So I hope this was pretty helpful for you guys. I hope you enjoy it. Got any questions or comments? Leave it in the comment section below, and I'll talk to you guys again soon. So from the Epic Jake James Lugo, VFM, I will talk to you guys again later. Peace out. Stay epic, everybody.